Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Historical Gamer back to you once again with my part 6 of my Buzz Aldrin Space Program Manager Let's Play for the USSR with another glass of whiskey here today. Anyway, so we're into quarter 2 of 1966. We have successfully launched our two-man space capsule. We also successfully launched it with duration 1. We also went ahead and had a launch to Mars, although that mission ended up failing, of our Mars probe. We've opened up a program for the N1 booster. We're just getting that underway, as well as the next Soyuz capsule. But in the meantime, really the only thing we've got left to work on is our Voskhod program. We've already got an orbital flight. We've already got an orbital duration level 1. So really it's on to orbit, or we've got a whole bunch more flights here. We've got orbital duration level 2, 3, 4, spacewalk duration 1, and joint launch and orbital flight. So we've already really done the orbital flight joint launch with the space plane that we did before. But I do think I want to jump ahead to orbital space flight duration 2. We're going to use the Soyuz capsule, of course. We'll go ahead and assemble that now. We want to continue on our program's successful history so far. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get all these people assigned here. Here we go. And there. Okay. Whoa, only 66 reliability, really? There we go. There we go. Here. Okay. So as you can see there, we've got our individuals assigned. Now our astronauts are going to have to be brand new, more or less, because last round we used all of our experienced astronauts. So we're going to get some rookies in here, which we have just hired. Actually, one other thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and hire a whole bunch more astronauts now that we're into a new year. We're not going to use them a whole lot except for training. Well, actually, let's get... No. We want you because you look like you're really good. We want you because you look like you're really good. And we want you. So making sure we're getting the the 7 most qualified astronauts. They're going to go through basic training. Then we're going to stick them in advanced training because we're soon going to be in a 3-cruise space capsule. And we need to be able to get more launches off than we currently are getting off every turn. So we'll go ahead and end the turn. We don't really have anything else that's reliability level high enough to launch. I could go with the Mars probe again, but it just lost 10% reliability in that failure on the way to Mars. So I don't want to just throw it away for nothing. Meanwhile, our N1 booster continues working. Our reliability, our 7K OK, and all of our other facilities or other projects that we're working on here continue to work. We're working orbital flight duration level 2. Look at that prestige hit if we fail. It seems like as we go further, the accomplishments are less noticeable as long as we're still in orbit, but the prestige penalties just mount. Anyway, hopefully our reliability factors and our good ground crew will compensate for a relatively inexperienced space crew, but we'll see, and we'll pull our fingernails out here for a few moments while we get this mission underway. We've already got a problem encountered here pre-launch during the countdown, so I don't believe anything will blow up if it fails, but our good quality ground control was able to fix that problem at an 80% reliability and fixed it pretty quickly, so we're into the launch. Into orbit. Alright, so our 2 crewed spacecraft is into orbit and now going to be advancing into duration. Level 2, I believe it is. Uh-oh. Problem. 85% chance. Oh, no. Really? They failed pretty damn quick. 85. No. 85% chance of it being fixed successfully, and failed in a split second, just like that. At least it wasn't our really experienced crew. And apparently it was only a minor failure. They must not have died or anything. I'm not quite sure what happened, but it doesn't say anyone died, so it must have just been kind of a system failure that I assume caused an abort. That's one thing I think could really be worked on in this game, is some kind of context for what happened. I don't know if the original Race into Space really told you what failed, but it didn't necessarily, you could fail a mission and get your crew back to Earth, and it would still kind of continue the mission and tell you that. It just didn't end or cut off mid-mission. The way this works is you could be halfway to the moon, get a failure, and all of a sudden you're back on Earth without any other, reliability checks. So I think that's a little bit of a flaw, and can probably be worked on a bit. But we'll go ahead and we'll launch another duration level 2 space flight here. We'll schedule another mission and get some high quality guys assigned here. We don't really have anything else brewing or anything else ready at this time, but this time we should have our A-team astronauts ready for the mission. So I feel like we should have better than 50% reliability. But man, some of my other guys are getting really high quality marks now. Really? Only 60% reliability per propulsion? I guess we'll go with it. We'll go ahead and confirm the assignments. I feel like the pilot should be the best astronaut, even though the cosmonaut, I think, is the one technically in charge, but I'm not really sure. So go ahead and schedule that mission. I don't really want to schedule 2 missions. I don't think I can schedule 2 missions. I only have 2 cosmonauts free. I wonder if we can hire any further astronauts. Yes, we can. We can hire some more scientists, and that's what we'll go ahead and do. We'll see who our best scientists are here that we can hire, so we can get more research underway toward the moon project, or at least, we want to make 4. We can hire up to 4, so we'll do that. We've got the money here, and we're going to have a whole lot more money shortly. So go ahead and end that mission and advance. Again, you can see our research is crawling along now, not making much progress of anything, except for under the EVA suits, which is nice to see. We can see we're doing another scheduled mission, orbital flight duration 2. Let's go ahead and launch that mission. Hopefully, if there is a failure, it's not fatal like the last one. Countdown. I wish I knew Russian. I would count down from 10 to 1, but I don't. So we're just going to have to watch it launch. Success. I don't know what these people are saying in Russian at all. I wish I did. I would like to learn some Russian. I would also like to learn how to code so I can make my own game someday. I was thinking, and might be giving away my dramatic secret that'll probably make no money. I feel like it'd be kind of cool. There's a SAM simulator online if you can make an ICBM simulator. Just like literally going through, pressing the buttons to make an ICBM launch. There's really not a whole lot, I guess, that actual ICBM crews do. I was looking into it. In terms of the actual launch procedures, it's almost like they just kind of literally turn the switch. All right, good. Okay, I was holding my breath there for a few seconds. There was 89% success, but it was taking quite a while. But it's like literally, I was watching a video on the Titan II launch, and they've got this whole panel in front of them as they're launching an ICBM. But literally, the only thing that the crew does, they verify that the orders are correct, and then they turn a key. And that's about it. Everything else is outside of their control, which makes sense. You don't want to give any one person too much control over, nuking however many cities the ICBM, command center commands. But, I was thinking it'd be a fun, cool simulator to make, and then I realized, so really all you'd be doing is watching some lights and turning a key. That's about it. Makes some interesting multiplayer though, because you'd have to have this whole thing where you have another player who turns the key within 5 seconds of you turning the key, or it won't work or whatnot. Because they had this whole 2-man crew where they basically put the consoles 12 feet apart so that no one person could turn both of the necessary keys at the same time, so you couldn't have one person go crazy and launch a nuke. But anyway, that's kind of not here nor there. So you can see there we launched that mission successfully. Orbital 2, duration level 2, successful. We've also got several personnel who have successfully gone through training. So that was a success. We've got so many flight controllers and we're not even using them. You know what we're going to do? Let's send some of these guys through advanced training, because it's not like we need all of them. We'll send this guy through training. Do we want to send him through mission operations? I mean, we don't really need that well balanced, right? We can just send him through cruise and payloads and make him excellent to that. We'll go ahead and send this guy through training. Oh, wait, what? Oh. This guy through training. He's good at okay at propulsion. And send him through cruise and payload. And send this guy. And this guy. Let's see, what do we want to send him through? I'm just trying to make a more diverse and well-balanced ground crew, essentially. We don't need 17 people just sitting and twiddling their thumbs, and I'm probably not going to be launching multiple missions for a little while yet. So we can go ahead and send some more of these guys through training. That way it's less crucial who gets assigned to what. One more. All right. So that's all more or less done. All right, so we did that mission successfully. I'm thinking we should do another Voskhod capsule launch because we really don't have anything else brewing. Still waiting for the Mars probe to get improved upon, but we'll go with duration level 3. Another Soyuz capsule. Schedule mission assemble now. And hopefully we still have a high quality ground control crew. It looks like I've left most of the high quality people outside of that training here. Mostly, anyway. There's a couple of guys who are still pretty green, but they'll get some experience, hopefully. So we'll go ahead and assign the cosmonauts. The other new ones I just hired aren't ready yet. Duration level 2. And that's really all I have to do this turn. So we're still researching everything else. We're kind of in a holding pattern, if you will. You can see we're making progress on our Mars probe. Actually, the LK-1 is pretty darn good. We could almost be ready for a lunar orbit launch. The N1 booster is not really ready, although it's almost at 80%. It's progressing pretty slowly there. You see only 1.1%. The actual lunar spacecraft that would carry 3 people and would go to the moon is almost at 80%. So the lunar lander is almost at 80%. We could take an outside chance of a lunar landing if we wanted to, or EVA suit's kind of the fallback or the limitation there, in that it's only at 40% reliability. But we'd be jumping a whole bunch of steps and get a whole bunch of penalties, because that's one thing the game does do, is if you skip a whole bunch of steps, if you try and go straight for the moon, for example, and you haven't done any other preliminary missions, you will get penalized in terms of your reliability. It's like 20% per step that you skip, so it's a pretty big penalty if you do decide to try and go that route, which is realistic. I mean, it's not like you're just going to shoot from the Earth to the moon without any training launches there in between. But we're doing the duration 3, as you can see here, the Soyuz capsule just taking off. There's something kind of beautiful to me about a space launch as it kind of tilts into that almost 45-degree angle to reach orbit, that kind of horizontal flight. The Apollo craft or any spacecraft is really kind of beautiful to me personally. I'm really excited, actually. In just a couple of weeks, we've got the new human spacecraft being launched by NASA. It doesn't have any humans on it. It's the first test flight of it, the Orion space capsule, which is the next generation of human spaceflight for the United States in terms of government spaceflight. As we've got a problem here, it's 77% reliability chance of success. And it's fixed normally. Good. But yeah, the Orion space capsule will be launched aboard a Delta IV Heavy rocket. It's not a human-rated rocket. It'll be unmanned. But basically, it's the first test flight of the thing. It's going up on, I think, December 4th, which is really cool, and I'm really excited for that. I've never really been a huge space nut until maybe the last, year or two, and I just really kind of depresses me. I mean, I know NASA still has the largest budget, but in terms of actual real spending, it seems like China and India are far above us because, their scientists and whatnot are so much cheaper to employ. Just be really nice if the world put a lot more effort into space travel. I think there's a lot up there for us. A single asteroid, in terms of real dollars, could be worth trillions, and sure, the space flights up there would be costly, but I wish we spent more money on trying to get into space. The NASA it's according to several studies, the NASA Apollo program, for every dollar that was spent on the Apollo program to go to the moon, it created more than $11 in terms of inventions that were used in the civil economy and other factors that created, for every dollar that was spent, it created $11 in the private economy. So, I mean, that's, in general, I'm pretty conservative and pretty critical of a whole lot of government spending, but if you can spend $1 of government money and yield $11 in the private economy, why the heck wouldn't you do that? That's a phenomenal return on your investment. And I just think that, the challenges that we'd have to overcome for further space travel are going to yield a whole lot more inventions that are going to have civilian applications, even if they don't, the knowledge and other things that we gain from that, or even if we just diversify the fact that we don't need to be so reliant on the planet, would be really nice. But that's getting political, and I've been told in my other videos that I shouldn't be political, so we'll stop there. You can see we successfully accomplished duration level 3. You can see the U.S. successfully launched the Pioneer 2. It's a lunar orbiter mapping the surface of the moon. They're only about a year behind that. They've also opened the Apollo program, but guess what? We've already opened our own lunar program ourselves. We're into the new budget season here. We had the max prestige at that time, so we got the maximum amount of money. That's $43,000 per turn. Look at that. That's $25,000 of free cash flow that we've got down here. Minimum, maximum target prestige are 5,600 and 52,000. We're almost already up to 52,000. We're at 40,000 prestige. So we just got to kind of keep working our way up. Could grant as much as 61,000 budget, but I'm hoping we can get to the moon in the next 4 years so that we don't have to wait to 71 to get that max budget. I guess we'll see. We're well on our way. Continue going through our rocket program here. We'll go ahead and schedule another launch of the Voskhod program. We've done duration level 2 or in 3, so we're on to duration level 4. We're soon into the spacewalk phase, but we don't really have a reliable space suit yet. So we'll see where we're at with that. But that's going to be our next scheduled mission. I don't think we're ready to do anything else just quite yet. So we'll see here. We're going to go ahead and get all of our people assigned. Again, we've got a lot of people currently in training, but you can see the success of the last mission has pulled our reliability up from our space crews or our ground control, so that's good to see. We've also got our best astronauts back here in terms of the quality of our people. So go ahead and confirm that assignment, get that duration level 4 launched, and we'll see where we're at in terms of research here in a moment for our first space walk, which isn't too far away. We've also almost got our Mars reliability up, so we could certainly look at possibly sending that back to Mars and seeing what happens. You can see we're still making a little bit slow but sure progress on the N1, as well as the LKOK whatever, and our EVA suits are probably several months away from being ready for an actual spacewalk. So we'll go with duration 4 and we'll see what comes after as we go ahead and launch another Soyuz launch. I'm not sure if you guys enjoy watching the actual space launches. They always make me kind of bite my fingernails. I get really nervous. As much as I'd like to see kind of a full motion video or action of what's actually happening while the launches is occurring, kind of watching these little periods up here slowly work their way across as you wait for a successful indicator to appear is really, in a way, it's a brilliant game mechanic and a brilliant game design mechanic that makes me kind of, again, just you get really nervous, and not a lot of games can pull that kind of tension off, and I would say this game certainly does. The game also kind of has a one more turn appeal to it, almost Civ-like, and just this desire to continue just seeing what happens next turn. Now, I'll admit, I'm not 100% sure about the actual replayability of this. I haven't played it all the way through as the US. I haven't also obviously played all the way through as the Russians or the GSA. So there's 3 different campaigns you can play through, so that obviously certainly adds an element to the not replayability, but the longevity of the game. But it does, I do wonder how replayable the game is. At the same time, it's got quite a bit of content, and for only $29, I would argue it's worth that level of content. But everyone has their own value system, so I'm not going to presume to judge. And this isn't a review either. I'm just kind of rambling about that. Saw some people questioning the reliability in one of my videos that I was looking through here a moment ago, so that's why I was kind of talking about it as we wait for this spacecraft to re-enter. Hopefully successfully, we'll see. So far, things are going okay. As soon as I say that, I'm sure something will fail. I want to know what the little, sparks are around the parachute there. Anyway, successful launch. Good to see. Another successful launch for the Soviets. So, more success. Extended duration level 4. So, our crews are getting used to being in space for an extended period of time. So, we've got a whole bunch of astronauts who've just graduated from basic training. So, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go ahead and get those guys assigned to advanced training. Not this guy. This guy, we want to... I think fitness is really... I could be wrong on this, but I feel like fitness is a really important factor, especially if you're going to the moon. If you're going to be an astronaut who's traveling to the moon, you need to be fit. You're going to be in space for however many weeks. So let's focus on fitness for these guys training. Let's face it, though, these are the scientists who are going to be the guys who are going to the moon. These are going to be the guys that we're going to kind of train up and be... hopefully really ready for that moon trip, and that's why I'm kind of giving these guys a bit of a focus on fitness, and they're probably going to be advanced trained for a while these other astronauts that I already have worked through the other kind of training programs getting ready for everything else. So I kind of feel bad because it's almost going to be like we're training these guys up to be moon pilots, while the other guys who are currently astronauts and going to space all the time are going to be the ones that we expect to kind of get the flights ready for space, and then those other guys, when they become the experts, will be the first ones to go to the moon, as opposed to the guys who've been doing all of our successful flights before. I feel bad about that, but hey, whatever. Yeah. So, I don't think we're ready for... Whoops. I don't think we're really ready for a... EVA. I don't think our reliability is up high enough. We've got everything accomplished up to that point, up to the spacewalk point. But I don't know if we're ready for that. Let's see. Component reliability 70%. The spacesuit is just not ready. So we're really not ready for that. I guess what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go for a Mars launch while we keep working on the spacesuits, because I didn't do a good enough job of actually kind of preparing for that. So we'll have to go with a Mars launch. We'll just kind of go with the best guys that we have for that. And I think what we're going to do, because it's going to be a few turns before we're ready for a... it's going to be a few turns before we're really ready for the space launch or spacewalk, as sad as that is. We may be 3 turns or so away from that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and add a whole bunch of our flight controllers to advanced training to kind of give them up for the final push toward the moon. So you can see this guy really isn't great at anything. I don't know what I want to focus on. Wait, no, these are astronauts. Well, I guess, our astronauts aren't going to be going up till the suits are ready, so we might as well get them up. to be as good as they can be as well. So anyone who's not in training is going to go into training, which is only 3 astronauts. He's good on leadership and piloting, could do better on, well, his fitness is the lowest level, so we'll do that. So we've got them all in training for a few more turns. We'll also go ahead and get some of our flight crew in training because we don't have everyone here. Oh, goodness, cancel. We don't have everyone here in advanced training or assigned to missions either, do we? Oh, well, maybe actually we do. Looks like we do. All right, so I spoke too soon there. And wait, actually, no, we've got to have a second. We've got multiple charts here. I'm wrong. Advanced training. Scientists, we have 4 who aren't doing anything. All right. Anyway, we'll come back to the scientists because I'm really bad at wasting people and not doing anything with people who should be doing something to be useful. Make you focus on propulsion so you can kind of become a specialist there. You can be good on mission operations. We're kind of focusing on some specializations now. I guess I'm still balancing. I don't know. It's hard to say. We could certainly afford some specialists at the same time. Not everyone needs to be a specialist. Some people probably need to be good at kind of just generally everything. All right, so those guys are all undergoing that training. Now we need to go ahead and use our scientists a little bit more efficiently. I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get a Mars orbiter because we're really researching everything else. So go ahead and open up that program. We can use the Proton K and go ahead and R&D these for this program, our lunar rover, if you will. Starts at 71% reliability, so that's not too bad. So we've got these guys assigned. I think we've got 2 astronauts who are unassigned. Go ahead and make them good at something. Astronauts, I feel like, need to be good at everything. That's my own personal take, is they need to be pretty well balanced. I mean, they're astronauts, you know, you don't want to be bad at anything in particular. So we've got everyone doing something except 2 flight controllers. So let's go ahead and get that. You can use these bottom labels. Basically, the far left number here shows you how many are doing nothing. The middle number shows you how many you have total, and the far right shows you the maximum you can have currently based on your current setup. You know how large your facilities are, or you know how many. I guess mainly how large your facilities are. So like how large your vehicle assembly building is, or anything else for that matter. So we've got everyone assigned everything. We're maxing out our potential. We'll go ahead and end this turn. And we're kind of in a waiting period. You can see we're getting those reliabilities up. But at this point, the research is just crawling along so slowly. See here, we can drag here. We can see the docking's up to about 43%. So we're still a bit of a ways away from being ready for a lunar launch. But maybe, hopefully this Mars launch is successful. It'll get us a whole bunch of prestige if it is, which could be useful if it ends up coming up to it. We can see that pretty Proton rocket. That thing is just so pretty to me. I don't know why. It just looks like a beautiful, beautiful rocket design. But hey, what do I know? Maybe there's something about just the all-white painted rockets that just kind of really, sleek or whatnot. I wonder what an all-black rocket would look like. That'd be kind of cool. I think that'd be a neat look. Or any color, I think, just goes well. I don't know what you're saying in Russian. I am not Russian. I don't know. So we got this far with our last Mars probe. We basically got it into the TPI, Transplanetary and Mars-Earth Transit, successfully, but the second turn is when it failed. Uh-oh. Problem. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. No! Is our Mars transit just cursed? Seriously, what the hell? Downgrade 8%. It'll take you a year to recover that research. Fuck. So they've opened a lunar surveyor. So what am I supposed to do for the next several turns? You know what? Screw it. We're going to launch another goddamn lunar or Mars. Actually, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Lunar probes. How's the Luna 15 doing? %. That's probably more reliable than our Mars probe. So I'm going to go ahead and skip. Really? What's below that? I'm guessing the Luna probe. Yeah, 78% reliability. Whatever. We're going to go ahead and schedule launch anyway. It's still a higher reliability than our Mars rocket. Got a whole lot of really great ground control people too, so we'll go ahead and do that. And there we go. So our flight controllers are largely undergoing training. Some of them just got out of training. And our astronauts are still undergoing training. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and... Actually, no, we've got 2 who are out of training. Let's throw them right back into training. So you're really good at piloting and leadership and EVA. You could be better at science. Get better at science, dude. And EVA. Get better at that, dude. All right. Let's go ahead and launch. And proceed. Come on, lunar probe. It's a bit of a risk. What are we, like 70% reliability on our actual lunar probe? But we'll see what happens here. Our first launch of a actual probe to the moon that's attempting to come back. Again, with that proton rocket. I just think it's so cool looking. %87% chance of being fixed. Fix it. There you go. The proton has not failed us yet. I will remark that every proton launch that has failed has come down to the probe, not the proton rocket, which has been very reliable. Probe deployment. It didn't say success on the last stage. That bothers me a little bit. TLI. We're go for TLI. Translunar injection. There goes our probe. How the hell is that thing getting it back? It doesn't look like it has any rockets. Moon approach. Uh-oh. It's landing. Only 76%. Oh, quickly fixed. So our second obstacle overcome. We have successfully landed on the moon. One small step for robotics. One giant leap for computer kind. Oh, it's only got a really tiny part of the spacecraft which returns. That's kind of cool. Earth re-entry. That can't have a heat shield. Like, how's that going to... Oh, it's just the little red ball that tries to come back. All right. All systems normal. Third obstacle overcome. Descent and landing. Success. The first Russian thing that I've seen that lands in the sea. That's cool. All right. Well, we landed on the moon, and we got our shit back. Nice. So we won the race to the moon, right? I hope. Anyway, the proton rocket is successful again. We unlocked a whole lot of badges. Got a whole lot of prestige. And yeah, so we successfully returned the Luna 15. I'm guessing there were a whole lot of Luna missions that were not modeled in this game, but we've actually almost hit the max prestige, which is the max amount of money that we can earn. If we actually look through the goals here, we can see the U.S. is pretty much behind us on everything. Apparently they are beating us on the lunar orbiter, though. That's a little bit concerning, because if they can orbit a spacecraft, why not humans? Everything else, though, we're pretty much ahead of them on. So we'll need to look at the whole lunar orbiter thing next turn. We should also be looking at getting ahead and doing the actual EVA launch here shortly. So we'll be getting to that shortly. Most of our astronauts are actually all of our astronauts are currently in training. We should have a much better astronaut corps when they start coming out of training here in the next turn. I'm thinking we'll probably do a Mars probe again. Just give it a try. You know, we don't really lose much of anything if we fail. And yeah, we'll go from there. But anyway, I appreciate you tuning in. This is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm out.